Well, hi everybody. How you doing? George here, GBR Trains. Glad to be with you today. Today we're going to do something just a little different than look at the layout itself. As I said in the past, I was going to do something about one of the electrics that appeared here in Danbury, and it ran on the New York, Washington, up to Boston lines, and it was right here in Danbury as well. And we're talking about the New Haven EP2. And this is what the EP2 looks like. I was able to get this non-motorized version. I believe it was off of Esty a while back. It has the pantographs here, and there's no engine in it, no motor, so it's just stationary all the time. So the EP2s happen to be Baldwin. They were made by Baldwin, Westinghouse, built back as a box cab electric locomotive. And that was from 1919 to about 1927. And these units were built for the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad. And they worked as passenger vehicles, and provided train service to like New Haven lines, which included Danbury, and they were electrified. As some people don't realize, the line between our Danbury station and South Norwalk was once electrified, but it's only electrified just up to a certain point in Norwalk, where they have a yard that they can pass each other, a passing yard. And these were the electrified lines of the New Haven area. And Baldwin Westinghouse had built 27 of these units, and they were in service right here, right through the line, up into Danbury as well. And these locomotives are the EP2 class. And when Hell's Gate Bridge had opened, they needed to modify the vehicles only due to the fact that they had to travel into Penn Station in New York. And before this, they needed to swap out the locomotives in Queens because of the electrical lines. And they brought diesels in to move them down. And then they ran into Penn Station. Well, the EP2s replaced the earlier EP1s because the Pennsylvania Railroad itself replaced the 600-volt original third rail DC with a newer overhead for the 11 kV AC line. And then, of course, unfortunately, most EP fleets lasted until only 1958, when they were all retired and replaced with the much newer EMD FL9s, which we have a host of them that come up here. And matter of fact, there is one at the Railway Museum. And after they were terminated, the most unfortunate thing was they were all scrapped. So obviously we don't have a replica at any museum of the EP2. And right now I'm going to show you a picture of the EP2 322 pulling a passenger train in Danbury. And that was right here in Danbury. And so they did improve service, but then everything comes to an end eventually, and they were replaced by the much newer EMD FL9s. Also, another feature of these EP2s was their traction wheels. And here's a picture I'm going to put up on the screen now for you to see. Okay, now you will notice that the traction wheels themselves, they had to support multiple electric systems. And so to do that between New York, New Haven, the EP2 carried both the pantograph and also the contact shoe for the third rail, because there was multiple ways of absorbing the electricity. So they have 6 twin Westinghouse 409 or 409-C2 AC traction motors, and they drove the locomotive on 6 axles using a quill drive type of situation. And then they had 2 more unpowered axles, which were located on each truck for an unusual 1C1, 1C1. And in this picture here, I'll hold it up again for you to see. You can see the traction motors and then the additional wheels that they had put on there for that. So the whole thing was like a power output was rated at 2,000 horsepower or 15 kW, and the maximum speeds were 70 miles an hour. And the box cab body which was 69 feet long, and it weighed 175 tons. So that's another feature that these EP2s had, so that they were able to get in and out of New York City, because they put the high tension wires in, and then they also had third rail. So these were equipped to go on both. But anyway, I was able to get this unit, and I'm going to be able to put this in my museum, because I will have a railway museum on the layout, and this will be sitting there by the railroad station. And obviously it's something that is worth looking at and looking into, because a lot of these, they do have pictures of them going around from, you can see them coming up from New York into New Haven and things like this online. And some of it I couldn't use due to the fact that there's copyright. But anyway, that's what we were looking at, and that's what I'd like just to give you a brief history or brief update of what this unit, which there are no units left of, was doing here in Danbury. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by, and we'll be getting ready to do another update on the layout soon. And I think what I'm going to do is run some trains on a separate video, especially my new Amtrak train. And I'll explain all about that when we do that. Hey, like, sub, thank you all for stopping by. And remember, my friends, keep right on railroading.